Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. Welcome back to our subject ECLV 3143 Art and Creativity in Early Childhood Education. And for this week, we will be looking at Unit 5, which is Music and Movement. Okay, so music is not only about singing, but it also includes listening, playing instrument, music, moving to our bodies and creating sound. So in this unit, we will learn why music is important for young children. Okay, by looking at the different parts of music and movement, children musical development, and how teachers can support children musical experiences. Okay, but before we go further, let's look at the learning outcome for this unit. Okay, so you are expected to be able to understand several important things. Okay, first, you should be able to describe children musical development. Second, you should understand the relationship between music and brain development. And then third, you should be able to explain the main component of music and movement. And then finally, you should understand how teachers can provide creative music experiences and how to set up a good music and movement center. Okay, so these learning outcomes should cover all the musical milestone. Okay, including music brain connection, music and movement components, the creative experiences, as well as teacher roles and the learning environment. Okay, so let's start with our first part of the unit, which is the importance of music and movement. Okay, music is a natural part of children's life. Okay, even to a babies, they do respond to sound, voices, and rhythm. So, music should be part of children' daily experiences. Okay, before we go further, let's understand why music is important. Now, first, music will support children overall development. It has the ability to support children overall development. Music, it can help children to develop socially, emotionally, and cognitive at the same time. For example, when children sing together, they learn to interact with others. When they move to music, they learn to control their bodies. So music also gives children a chance to express themselves. Okay, another important point here is that children should not only watch adults making music, they also should be an active music makers. Okay, it's not necessarily for us to play the music and ask them to dance with the music, but actually alternatively what you can do, you can evolve them to be active music makers. Okay, for example, children can sing, they can clap, dance, play instrument. uh, However, they also can play instrument and create their own music. Okay, so music also help children to create their own meaning. At the same time, they enjoy learning. Okay, so basically, briefly lah. Okay, so all of this importance reflecting. Okay, and also emphasize, okay, on music as a part of children growth and social, emotional, cognitive development. Now let's us look at the connection between music and brain development. Okay? So first of all, music support brain growth and development. When the children sing, move, play instrument, and listen to music, basically they use different senses. So uh, this activity of sing, move, play instrument, it involves different parts of the brain. Okay, music can also support for children learning memory and also language. For example, okay, rhyme and rhythm in every paragraph. Okay, with this rhyme and rhythm, naturally can help children to remember words. Okay, however, all right, you probably heard about the Mozart effect. Okay, they said that this Mozart effect. Okay, they said that whoever listen to the Mozart song can contribute to the children intelligent. Okay, some says that listening about a few minutes, okay, couples of minutes, not couples of minutes, like 10 minutes a day. Okay, it can give. It can enhance the children intelligence, but that this is what they claim. But we should be careful with this claim because uh, it is too general, okay, too simple, and it had not been supported by um, mass research on this. Yeah. So yes, there is a saying that Mozart can give this effect, but however, we as the educator, we cannot simply claim or urge the parents, okay, to simply listening to Mozart in order to make their child smarter. Okay? However, as an educator, instead we can focus on the real benefit of active musical experiences to the children brain development. Okay? Music also can have many positive impact effect on children. All right. Uh, we look at we look at it from the children development. So when we talk about development, remember all the five domains of development. So the first one, let's look at the physical development. Okay, so when children listen to the music, okay, music are also connected to a movement. So when they do this, especially dancing and so on, it can improve body awareness and also their motor skill, be it the gross and fine. Okay, secondly, in terms of their language development, when they sing a song, they tend to imitate. Okay, they tend to imitate the words, the lyrics in the song. Okay, they try to sing. So singing can help children to practice their listening skill. Okay, speaking skill as well, and use a different tone of voices. Okay, and then third is cognitive development. Okay, music can support memory, sequencing, imitation, and also classification. All right, especially when it involve a song with lyrics. Okay, music also support for children creativity because it encourage children to create their own song, their own lyrics, okay, words, melodies, and also rhythm. All right. On top of that, music can also help children to pay attention. Okay, help children to develop their ability to focus. Okay, so this can actually um, support their learning in the future. Okay, so generally, uh, music not only for entertainment. Okay, however, it is a very good tools that we can use to support children development in many areas. Okay, now let's look at the second part of this unit, which is components of music and movement. Basically, there are four important component. Okay, or ataupun how children four ways how children can experience music. Okay, so the four components, these are the four components, so all of these components are actually connected to each other. Okay, so we have listening to music, singing, playing instrument, okay, moving to music. Okay, so let's look at it one by one. We start with listening. Okay, so listening is important because before the child has or develop the ability to speak or to read, listening is their first skill that they are developed. It is very important because children need to learn how to hear and or how to listen, okay, or how to hear and understand different sound that would lead them to actually listen um, better. Okay, so when listening to music, children can learn to notice different types of sound. Okay, identifying different sound and also recognizing pattern in the sound or in the song. Okay, for example, we can play two types of sound. We can play a drum and then a bell. All right, so we can ask the children, okay, which sound did you hear? Okay, so probably we can ask them to point out which instrument will produce which type of sound. However, this does not develop overnight. Okay, probably it requires practice lah. Okay, so on top of that, children can also learn that music can be fast or slow, loud or soft, and music can also have a different tempos. Okay, so listening is basically an active learning skill. Okay, to master to master this listening skill, it requires an active participation. Okay, not just simply hearing the music in the background, but it requires more than that. Okay, and then move on to the second component, which is singing. For young children, usually they learn to sing, of course, as I mentioned just now, by first by listening. Okay, and then after a few attempt or few session of hearing the same pattern of sound, okay, then they'll start to develop this schema, then only they'll be able to join in. Okay, so as a teachers, okay, so you should use simple, familiar, and also repetitive song. This is very important because we want to develop the schemas in a children brain. Okay, in order to help them to um, be able to produce, okay, the sound or the words. Okay, um, one thing that I want you all to be aware that song with action, okay, are especially useful for young children. Okay, for example, we can use song where the children clap, okay, jump or um, move their hand. Okay, we may also encourage children to actually create their own words or song. All right. Okay. Song with action, as I mentioned just now, lah, especially useful for young children. Okay. So we can also encourage children to create their own words or song or their own lyrics. Okay. So with this, okay, uh, it can truly benefit, all right, the children development because singing, okay, indirectly or directly, it can support both language and creativity. Okay. All right. So the third component is playing instrument. All right. So our children are very curious. They have very high curiosity. So they will enjoy making sound using various musical instrument. Now, remember, when you want to provide this musical instrument, it's not necessarily you have to provide them with the um, commercial um, musical instrument. Okay, it do not always need to be expensive instrument. You can use simple object that is available at home, okay, such as containers, safe house, no no yeah, household object, like in the kitchen you have pots and pans, okay, the spatula and so on, just to get them to explore the sound. Okay, but then when you want to make all of this sound, it's not only limited with external tools or instrument. Yeah, children can also use their body as an instrument. Okay, for example, they can clap their hands, stomp on their feet, or probably tap on your tummy. Okay, so all of this what we call as a body percussion. So we can also make sound from our own body. Okay, so when we introduce an instrument, okay, remember to introduce it slowly and one at a time, because not only we want them to explore the instrument, but at the same time we want them to listen to the beat. Okay, we want them to develop this schema in their brain. Okay, because this what will lead to their understanding and cognitive development. Okay, so a simple steps, right? uh, we first need to let the children listen to the beat. Okay, then only uh, let them play along with the instrument. Okay, now the fourth component is moving to music. Moving to music. So, according to Pika in 2004 research, movement involves three major skill categories. So, the first one is locomotor movement. Okay, the movement from point A to B. Okay, so locomotor movement means that you are moving from one place to another lah, from point A to point B. Okay, for example, you walk from here to there, running, jumping. Basically, it brings you to another point of place. Okay, second, non-locomotor movement. So it means that you're still moving, however, you will stay in one place at the same place, but then you still moving your limbs, such as you bend down your body, you are swinging your arms. Okay, uh, twisting your body or stretching and so on. Okay, and then you have the manipulative. Okay, so manipulative will include movement that involve controlling other objects. Okay, other objects, for example, you use a ball, a hoop. Okay, you will draw, you will catch, you will kick the ball and so on. So that is manipulative movement. Okay, and then we also have creative movement, whereby this movement allows children to express their feelings and ideas using their body. Okay, so using their body doesn't mean that they have to hit, no, okay, or hit or beat or bite. Okay, for example, we can ask children to move like different animals. Okay, while they are listening to the music. Okay, now let's look at musical developmental milestone. Alright, again, as I mentioned just now, children do not develop all of these musical skills overnight. Okay, so all of this skill, it needs time, it needs some sort of investment. Okay, in terms of time, that you need to repetitive do in order for you to be good at that skill. Okay, so children musical abilities develop gradually, means that it develop little by little as they grow. Okay, so let's look at what children can usually do at different ages. Okay, so for infant and toddlers, music begin with a hearing. Okay, feeling and also experimenting with sound. All their senses, basically with all their senses, they learn with their senses. So as a teacher, okay, you can sing or chant to the babies. You can also use different types of song, lullabies, or rhymes, or sound, okay, to stimulate their senses. Or you can also copy the sound that the baby makes, as simple as that. Okay, so another simple strategies that you can do is to softly rock or pat or move gently with the children, okay, to the rhythm of the music, just to help them to develop an understanding about the rhythm and sound. Okay, you can also provide them with soft toys that can produce a sound. We have a lot of toys that can produce a sound, whether it a commercial board or natural one. So the important point is that infant and toddlers should have regular music experiences. Okay, and then moving on to 2 years old, children can learn basically short and simple song. Okay, they may sing only part of song. All right, like they only sing at the end of the words. All right, they may not sing in the correct pitch yet, but that is all normal. They will sing as how they wanted to sing. Okay, so children at this age also they enjoy making sound using everyday objects and instruments such as the pots and pans or plates and spoons. All right, and then moving on to 3 years old, usually at this age because of their cognitive ability are growing better, therefore they can show better rhythmic understanding. They can recognize parts of familiar song and may begin to make up their own song. Okay, children at this age, right, they have better physical abilities. Okay, so they enjoy walking, running, jumping to the music um, because of their large muscle has grown. Okay, so as the children grow, their musical skills also will become more controlled and creative. Okay, so remember all of these skills will develop gradually. Now, moving on to 4 years old. Okay, so at this stage, children begin to understand basic musical ideas such as tempo, volume, and pitch. Okay, so because of their abilities in language are also increased, so they may be able to create new words for song. Okay, and probably at this age you can see that they enjoy more complex song. They may have some preferences towards which type or genre of song that they like. Okay, they also enjoy active listening, okay, such as singing, okay, moving and playing with instrument. Okay, moving on to 5 to 6 years old. Okay, because of they have increased abilities in terms of language, cognitive. Therefore, they can reproduce their own melody. Okay, and they also can begin to move according to to the rhythm and music. Okay, even children at this age, okay, they can even perform two action at the same time. For example, they can march while playing an instrument, or they can sing while they dance. Okay, all right, so for children age 7 to 8, okay, musical skills become more developed. All right, they may begin to read song lyrics, learn simple dances. Okay, and they enjoy making music with friends. Okay, some children may become interested in learning an instrument or dance. They can also move more accurately according to the beat and compare different sound. Okay, now let's move to the final part of this unit, which is creative experiences in music and movement. So, our role as a teacher is not to make every child perform in exactly the same way. Okay, instead, we should give opportunities for them to explore, to create, and express themselves through music and movement. Okay, so what is our role? What is the teacher's role in music exploration? Of course, the first one is for them to create a safe and supportive environment. So we must provide a safe and supportive environment. Okay, so children who ever enter the musical session should feel comfortable to sing, to move, and also to make sounds. Second, okay, provide age appropriate music activities such as song, rhythms, okay, chants, or simple instrument. Okay, and then third, be an active role model. Okay, children see, children do. So if the teachers sing, dance, or enjoy music, children are more likely to participate. Okay, and then fourth, encourage creativity and participation. Okay, so encourage children to create their own song, rhythm, and movement. Teachers should also provide different types of music. Okay, however, at the same time, we must have a respect for children, cultural background. Most importantly, we need to remember that the teacher does not need to be a professional musician. Okay, because teacher's job is to provide opportunities, participate, encourage, and also support children. Okay, now let us think about the classroom environment. How can we set up a music and movement center? Okay, so a music and movement center, okay, a good music and movement center area should include, of course, suitable location. Okay, a place that is safe and suitable areas. Okay, children, they will need enough space for them to move and also to make music without directly disturbing children who are actually doing quiet activities. So it's very important for you to plan appropriately where should you place your music and movement center is. Okay, so it won't actually disturb the other class with different activity. Okay, so not only that, center should provide different instrument and materials. Okay, the musical instrument, it has to be variable. Okay, there's variety, sorry. So it should also allow children to explore movement, music, and creativity. Okay, uh on top of that, okay, all the musical instrument, okay, drum, shakers, and so on, you can also provide um, materials that give the children opportunity to make their own instrument. Okay, so for movement materials, you may also provide like scarf, fabrics, or simple props that the children can use for their dancing. Now, mirrors, it's a good additional to the music and movement center because mirror allow children to see and explore their own movement because they'll be able to see their reflection um, in the mirror. Okay, we can also provide paper drawing tools so the children can actually combine um, music and art. Okay, then finally, okay, it is best to include music and instrument from different culture, especially in the context of our country with multi racial country. Okay, again, okay, with this the cultural resources, okay, with this we can help children to learn that there are other people, okay, living around us, okay, who has different characteristic. Okay, now let's look at the final, okay, topic in our unit, which is the four stages of musical development. So, how children develop their music abilities or musical uh, skills. Skills, can we say skills? Okay, it's through these four stages. So the first one is musical awareness. So musical awareness means that the children start to notice and they explore there is different types of sound available in their environment. Okay, so they will touch, play, and experiment with all of these sound resources. And then secondly, we have musical exploration. So what will the children do during this exploration? They will use their senses lah. So children will listen, they will move, okay, play instrument, okay, basically they will explore in making rhythm and musical sound. And then we have musical inquiry. Okay, they start to have a question, they wanted to know things, so they will begin to use music with more purpose, they wanted to know. Okay, and then show their understanding. Okay, and then we have music utilization. Okay, they utilize it, so children use the music in various way. Okay, they use it in more complex way. Okay, they apply the music ideas in new situation. Okay, so remember the stages has sequence lah. Okay, so it goes from the awareness to exploration, inquire, and then finally utilization. Okay, so children move from a simple one, okay, from noticing the sound, okay, up until they use it, okay, meaningfully. Okay, so this is the short activity that you will be doing with your lecturer in class. Okay, should you have any question, okay, you may discuss in the class during tutorial session. Okay, so for this activity, okay, basically you get in a group, right? Go around your house, okay, look for something that can produce a sound, okay, and then choose one nursery rhyme, and then you choreograph the movement. Okay, so not only that, you think about the children age to ensure the TAP. Okay, make sure the movement that you created should be safe, simple, and fun according to the children's age. Okay, um, and performing class. All right. Okay, so the purpose of this activity is basically to practice how can we combine music and movement in our early childhood classroom. Okay, so remember, okay, some few main ideas from this unit, right? If we can recap back, okay, children experiences music through all their senses, okay, by listening, okay, singing, playing instrument, and also movement. All right, so according to the what you say just now, according to the stages, okay, their musical skills develop gradually as they grow, okay, and then we as the teachers, it is our responsibility to provide a safe environment. Okay, not only that, also provide suitable materials and opportunity for the children to explore and create. Most importantly, children should not only listen to the music, but they also being given an opportunity to make music, to move, to create, and enjoy the music. Okay, so that's a wrap. That's all for Unit 5. Thank you everyone for listening. Until we meet again. Assalamualaikum. Bye.